Okay, end of October. Well, I mean, it's the 1st of November here, but this is my regular end of month rotation highlight diary video. And I'm going to talk about most worn, samples I've finished, stuff I've enjoyed, anything I might have bought, anything I might have emptied, and let's see what I've done. Actually, first thing I'm going to talk about is my scent of the day, and that is this beautiful 1982 bottle of Magie Noir by Lancôme Eau de Toilette. This is gifted to me by a very dear friend as a partial. I've had it for the last, I want to say 2 years. Yeah, probably 2 years. Since 2023, and I finally basically emptied the bottle. I could probably get a couple of sprays out of that. But it's kind of sad and also not. I really fell in love when I sampled a vintage Magie Noir. I was a little bit disappointed by what the current one smelled like. I even made a video about it, complaining and ranting. But I was lucky enough to have someone gift this to me. And I treasure the time that I got to wear it, basically. And I know I'm not going to be able to replace this anytime soon. So that one leaves my wardrobe, my perfume wardrobe, but I do have another one coming in. I was hoping, a new bottle, I was hoping that I would have it in time for the recording of this video, but unfortunately not. It's still in transit, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I want to show you when I get the bottle. It is a perfume that's been on my wish list for a little bit, so maybe some of you can guess that. Okay, what did I wear more than once in the month of October? Two of my, I think probably at least top 10 perfumes, Gilded from Eau de Bougie, and also the beautiful The Afternoon of a Fawn by Etat Libre d'Orange. I wore those twice for the Gilded and 3 times for The Afternoon of a Fawn. I never get sick of some perfumes. Like I can wear... There's some perfumes that, if I wear a couple of times in quick succession, 2 or 3 times, that I get enough. And some perfumes like these two, I don't seem to actually get bored of wearing, even if I've worn them quite often. And that's coming from someone who basically wears something different every day. The other thing I wore a few times was the small sample I had of Le Mystérieux by Cartier. I was sent that with a bunch of other samples, and I wore that a few times just so I could do that video where I was comparing that to L'air de Rien, and I think that was my last upload anyway. So I quite enjoyed that, and you can see what I thought about it in that video. Samples that I emptied, a couple I did enjoy. They're not going to be become full bottles, but I did do a video of Alhambra by Laboratorio Olfativo. I think that was a pretty well-made amber perfume, if not a little bit not exciting. Rather, I don't want to use the word boring, but like like the type of amber that a lot of people could like and wear, whereas some ambers are a bit too much and people either love them or can't wear them, and other ambers feel too synthetic and a bit nothing. Alhambra is well made, smells like a good quality amber, but doesn't do a lot. The other perfume sample that I emptied was from Parfum d'Empire, and this is, I didn't get to wear this much up until recently when it was getting a little bit warmer here, and this is Yuzu Fu, and it is I really enjoyed it. It is like a really mouth-watering opening for those familiar with yuzu and some of the perfumes that use it. When it's done well, it has a similar kind of effect to me of the way some grapefruit does. It really just like you spray it on and your mouth instantly starts to water. It was lovely, refreshing, invigorating. Just like a lot of these types of perfumes, I couldn't smell it anymore after about 15 minutes, which is kind of sad. I'm sure other people might have been able to smell it, but I must go. Either like I expect them not to. I expect perfumes like this not to last very long on my skin, but some citrus perfumes I can smell for quite a while, and some like just disappear almost, within 15, 20 minutes. And some of that's got to be a bit of anosmia in combination with just being the nature of the materials being used. Highlights for me in October, the perfumes I remember wearing for, not necessarily because, well, I mean, I'm saying highlights, but I remember wearing them because I was struck by how much I was enjoying them. And these are all from samples this month. Eau de Soie by Sisley. Now, the ones I'm going to mention actually, I have worn before years ago. So there's been a big gap between when I first tried them and now retrying them. So I think that's interesting in itself. But Eau de Soie by Sisley just reminded me how much I enjoyed it the first time. And I think I kind of remember enjoying it and even considering getting a bottle back then. And then I guess maybe being distracted by other perfumes and forgetting about it. And now that I'm smelling it again, and when I wore it recently, it really just like wears well on my skin and I can smell it all day. It's just a beautifully done sort of fruity floral chypre. I'll actually do a proper review for it because I'm not telling you much, but the structure of the perfume is nothing groundbreaking or original, but it's just really well done for what it is. And I think it's kind of probably underrated or under-discussed around fragrance circles. So Eau de Soie by Sisley, I really enjoyed. The other two I enjoyed wearing as well were from MDCI, and I have reviewed both of these years ago. So I have, like over 5 years ago, I reviewed Chypre Palatin and Invasion Baba, and I remember I had to re-watch those videos just to sort of recollect what I thought about them back then. And I think in terms of each perfume, Chypre Palatin has sort of grown in my appreciation since then. Like smelling it again now, I think I like it more, even more than I liked it back then. With Invasion Baba, back then, I thought it was nice, but it didn't do enough for me to understand why it was so critically loved by a lot of perfume people. When I re-smelled it again, I thought, yeah, this is nice, and it did remind me of a couple of things, like parts of a couple of classic fougères, basically. One being Sartorial and one being 1725 by Histoire de Parfum. They have similarities in the opening, okay, but then by no means the same perfume. I remember really loving Invasion Baba's Dry Down. But what I did notice, and probably one reason why I'm not as enchanted by it as other people, is that on my skin, when it's drying down as it develops, sure, it smells nice, but compared to something, when I'm wearing something like Sartorial by Penhaligon's, there's not a lot going on with Invasion Barbare. Like, it dries down nicely, it's got a nice opening, and there's similarities, and maybe people just like that because it doesn't do a lot, and it just smells good all the way through. But I just found it a little bit not that inspiring, and not inspiring me to make me wear it, basically. So, but I'll give it a few more wears. Maybe, I mean, it's not it's not my mind has never been changed before on a perfume. So I like to give fragrance as much of a chance as possible before I make have a final opinion about it. The last thing I want to talk about is a couple of, not lowlights, but there's a sample I want to talk about that I unfortunately wasn't that impressed by. I also got a sample of Immortel Solaire by Les Indomedables, and I'm not going to go into what I smell, but I will just say that I wasn't very impressed by it, considering I've smelled a lot of Immortel perfumes, and I'm just not sure how this one is in any way better than a lot of the ones I've smelled. I'm starting to get the feeling that this brand, Les Indomedables, is one of those brands that I am going to find it difficult to connect with. And I have the same thing with Frederic Malle. Okay, so I can appreciate the quality and the variety that a brand like Frederic Malle has, but I have not smelled one thing in their collection that I've absolutely completely fallen in love with, that I must have. And based on so far what I've smelled with Les Indomedables, I have basically just liked a lot of the stuff and had no connection to anything that I really want a bottle of. So yeah, I'm not suggesting that they're overhyped, because they're not enough people that I respect in terms of their taste like this brand a lot, and have and own bottles, but I just feel like there are just some brands and the perfumes in those lines are good enough, are well made, interesting ideas, but I just can't connect with anything in them. So hopefully that changes in the future, but Immortel Solaire was most certainly not that for me. And if you want to hear a review of it, a full review, I'm happy to do it. Just know it's not going to be overly positive. Okay, so that was my October, ending on a lovely note, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.